Hey everybody, today I've got a 2010 Ford Focus with a 2.0 liter that had a coolant leak, and these are known to have, right down in here, there's a coolant outlet that leaks. It's made out of plastic. Plastic does not belong on cars. But anyway, the thermostat is actually underneath here, so it's not the thermostat housing, it's actually the water outlet housing. So let me take and show you the new part. Let's see, get those out of the way. Here is the new part. It sits against the engine this way. There's a metal plate that bolts on top of it. This goes to the upper radiator hose. This one goes over to the heater core, and then this one runs someplace else. I'm not exactly sure where that one runs. I haven't gotten down to it. There's 4 bolts that hold it on. It comes with a new gasket. We got new bolts for it, but unfortunately they sent the wrong bolts. And they also sent some type of gasket. I'm not exactly sure where that gasket goes, unless it's also goes there. I'm not sure. I haven't opened that package up yet. So what we have to do first is we're going to get the air cleaner assembly housing out. We're going to disconnect this PVC hose, get those out of the way. Get this air cleaner assembly out, get this out. Here's the ECM. I do believe I might have to pull the ECM out because there's a harness that runs here. It's a mess down here. Might even be pulling the battery out just to give myself some more room. So let me get some of this stuff apart and I'll come back. The air cleaner is pretty easy and self-explanatory. You got a clamp here, you got a hose here, a bunch of clamps, and this comes out. And then the computer is bolted here. There's probably some more bolts underneath. Let me get some of this stuff out and I'll come back and show you what's going on. So I got the upper air cleaner assembly out, the lower air cleaner assembly out. And then I got this PVC hose assembly out that you push down on the red ring and it'll slide out of the intake manifold, and I just push that back. I disconnected these 2 wire harnesses that sit right on top of the housing, and actually you can kind of see the housing now. It's underneath this metal piece. So now this computer wire harness is still in the way, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and pull the ECM out and pull the battery. As you see, I have the negative battery disconnected as normal. Push these out of the way. Have to disconnect that one, get in here, get this bracket out. And like I said, this wire harness is going to fight me trying to get to those bolts. That wire harness right center screen, this one right here, is going to fight me. So I think it'd be better if I just go ahead and pull the ECM. So let me get the ECM and the battery out and I'll continue on. So I removed the ECM, I got the battery all disconnected. I was going to pull the battery out, but then after I got these wire harnesses here out for the ECM and pushed all the wiring back out of the way, unplugged the EGR valve, now I can see the top of this thermostat housing. So I got the clamp here to get off, the clamp here to get off. 1 bolt's here, 1 bolt's here. There's 2 more underneath. I think I can get in here to do this without having to take the battery out. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and take this bracket off next, get the hoses off, and get the 4 bolts off to get this housing out. So once you get all the wire harnesses and the computer out of the way, it looks like I should be able to get down in here and get it. So let me continue on and I'll come back. I got the metal plate off the top, so now you can get a better look at where it is. I slid that hose clamp back on this heater hose return or inlet. I'm not sure which one, but it's one of the heater hoses. And then this is the hose that runs to the upper radiator hose. That's why I don't like reusing the clamps. The clamp actually broke on me. So now I'm probably either going to have to cut this clamp or finagle this hose off with the clamp in place. These clamps are great when they're putting the cars together, but I don't recommend reusing these clamps because once you unsprung in the heat of heating up and contracting, they just don't last. So this is going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt, but I wanted to show you what happened. That it's supposed to have another tang here, like this one has. See how it has 2 tangs? You squeeze together. to release the clamp. This one here, the tang broke off. Luckily, I can grab that lock and get it loose to try to get this hose off. I got the upper hose off. I have the heater hose off. There's another hose underneath that you can't get to. The reason why I wanted new bolts is this bolt here, the head is all kind of rusted away. And that's how long it is since they sent me the wrong bolts. So to get these bolts out, I'm using a 8mm with this extension, and I can get right down in here to get the bolts out. And now there's two more from underneath that I might have to, I can probably get this down in here. All right, well, I'm going to need both hands to do this, so let me get these two bolts out and I'll show you the housing when we get it out. So there's the two upper bolts, there's the two lower bolts. I was able to get in here between the battery and it and get it out. And this is why I say plastic does not belong on cooling systems of cars. Here is, let me set it over here, we can prop it up so you can see. This is the part that mates against the motor, and what has happened is the plastic has failed here and the gasket has herniated out and caused it to start leaking. So here's a look at the new one, the other one. See how it's got the plastic? The plastic is what holds this rectangular shaped O-ring in place. And once this plastic breaks, the rubber gasket forces down and then it starts leaking. So plastics do not belong in cars. This job here is a little involved. It's not as bad as it looks. Like I said, once you get all the wire harnesses and everything out of the way. Oh, and then there's that other hose here underneath that you have to disconnect after you have the harness out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean this up and reassemble. So I think I'm going to leave it at this because most people don't watch the whole video of me re-putting it together anyway. So I'm going to leave it here. Please subscribe. You can always do that right there in this corner. Please give me thumbs up and we'll talk to you all later. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody.